How's it going, everybody? It's me, Shane, again, and I'm here to give you another episode review recap, actually, of the next 5 episodes of Shaman King 2021. That's episode 6 through 10. And if this is your first time joining me, please do not forget to give me a like. Those help out the channel. But we also trying to get to 200 subscribers, so do not forget to hit that subscribe button. If you're new here, hit the if you're not new here, I should say, you should hit the notification bell. And actually, even if you are new here, hit that little bell right there too to get notified of more videos just like this. And don't forget to share the video. So, there's some things I want to go over that I did not mention last time. I did not mention about how the shaman tournament participants have this thing called an oracle bell, which fits coincidentally all around the forearm. It's very big, has an LCD screen, and because I think the main ones who are doing the shaman tournament are legitimately indigenous Native American people, the Patch tribe, everything's in English. It's just the Great Spirit has denounced that the tournament will be held in Tokyo this time around, 500 years, right? Another thing I did not mention, it takes place in 1999, which is funny because it is referenced that it's 1999 in there. Um, I have notes, not only things I wrote down here, but I had some stuff on here. I didn't like how I did last time because I was going through some stuff, but I'm going to go episode by episode, just throw out some highlights, try to scroll through my little notes on my phone too. Um, what else did I forget? I forgot to mention that Hiroyuki Takei, he actually studied and worked under, um, where's his name at here? His name is Nobuhiro Watsuki. He worked as an assistant with him. He is the writer and creator of my favorite manga and one of my favorite anime series. One of my favorite anime series, but I love the manga. Manga's my number one. Rurouni Kenshin. I'll get on that in 1 second. And he worked side by side with Ichiro Oda. You know, the guy that's made One Piece, the highest selling manga and anime series of all time. Probably, I think it's the longest running. If it's not the longest running, it's number two. There is a series from the 70s that is still going on right now. But yeah, yeah, this dude, his he chose to do a book about shamanism as the main central focus because just did not see that going on anywhere else. He's heavily inspired and influenced by hip hop, urban culture, black culture. Um, I did make a mistake when talking about Jocko. Jocko was not called Jock, not just because you can tell where they were going with that. His real name is Coco Love. Uh, 4Kids, of course, changed all that, and I do have in my notes here some of the things, some of the differences, because I mentioned last week it did feel like things were going faster, kind of like a manga where you're reading things, you're going play by play, because a lot of stuff happens sooner in this good reboot than it did in the original 2001 series. So anything else here? Oh, there's also 5 spinoffs from Shaman King. Uh, I I'll say it anyway. One of them focuses on an offspring of two of the characters that are in here. Um, Show is very popular, very very popular, very multi. It breaks barriers across the world. I know I mentioned that, and I did not mention that Ren had ended up killing his proctor. That will come into play in actually the very episode I'm about to talk about right now. And that proctor was name was Crom. And yeah, that's all for right now. So in episode 6, we have the fallout of Ren killing Crom. Crom is actually the best friend of Silva, and you know it's really weird because the other of the 10 remaining great proctors, they're all like, yeah, it's fine. I mean, it should be shown that this young upstart is strong enough to kill one of us. That's even better for if they're going to be Shaman King. Coach Silva just doesn't care about any of that, which makes him completely different. Just like Yo is different, Silva's different. Doesn't care about any of that crap. And the big chief, aka Goldva, who is a chief, mind you, very rare to have she chiefs in media like this. Uh, she's like, you gotta have faith in and that everything's gonna work out. The gray spirit moves in certain ways, and also she was telling him, look at Yo Asakura. This guy didn't know anything about mana, and in just a second, he's working, working hard, and working mysteriously, right? But this episode is dedicated to the fight. Yo's first fight with Horo Horo. Horo Horo was called in 4Kids Trey Racer because he does use a snowboard. But man, 4Kids was horrible. I do not miss 4Kids. Even his spirit ally, who is a Kapori, a fairy spirit, if you will, Japanese fairy spirit. Their name is Kororo. They called it Kori and 4Kids, which is stupid. He is actually part of the Ainu. Yeah, Ainu. I said that correctly first time. Ainu tribe. It is literally the indigenous people of Japan. These are people who, just for geological sense, I'm very much generalizing it, but they're mostly based in Hokkaido. These are the people that were there before the Yamato Japanese and before the Russians came in, which is interesting given the current turn of events in the world. But regardless of that, actually in real life there is less than 300 pure Ainu people, and their population was less than 200,000 as of, I think it was 2014. I forget what my stats say because I didn't write it down in here. But yeah, Horror Horror uses ice, so he's a snowboard. He makes a good entrance. His whole dream, he just wants to make a big field for the Kapori to live. And Yo's kind of, not just Yo, but Monster's kind of like, that's kind of a small dream. He's like, no, these Kapori spirits are going extinct. And, my people, we live with nature. We live as one with it. We try to have peace and harmony. If I win, I'm going to make sure they have everything they need. And it is the point where Yo was like, that's such a good dream. It makes me feel like mine, just to have a cushy life, an easygoing life, makes me kind of feel dumb. You know what? I'm going to win, and I'm going to make both of our dreams come true. They have a really good fight. We see how much Yo has grown because he's able to do Amidamaru's Buddha Slash just from muscle memory. That's how long those two have been friends and allies together. He does win this fight because one of the rules of the Shaman Fight is that if you run out of mana, you're done. That's it. And Horo, and I did not take time to try to learn his moves because his moves use actual traditional Ainu names. But his avalanche attack didn't bury him. He was gonna get Yo out of it before he suffocated too. Good. He's a good lad. Um, Yo counterattacked, didn't hit him because his mana had already worn out. One of the funny cute parts is that Kororo actually has a little crush on Manta because Manta again is short and tiny. So, um, where am I at here? So that was that fight. Episode 7 is where we meet one of the characters that I really like in this series, even though his intro is so disgustingly evil. Is Faust the Eighth, based on the German literary character. Where am I at here? My notes. Johann Gregor Faust, which is where we get the term Faustian bargain in literary works, and this has changed a bit. Faust wanted to know more about. He wanted to know all of the knowledge and wanted to know all of the pleasure, so he summoned the devil. But he got Mephistopheles, who said, "Hey, all right, we can give you all that knowledge and have you experience all that, but then we get your soul." And in one set, he has Mephistopheles helps him seduce a woman. He's supposed to have a child, but she drowns the child because she knows that it's evil. Um, she she's killed because she killed a baby, and she ends up going to heaven because she was still naturally good. And of course, at the end of it, Faust goes to hell. But in one other story told that they both were praying before she got executed, and they both ended up going to heaven because he had repented and turned. But yeah, Faustinian bargain. That's where those things come. You can get whatever you want, but you got to give your soul up for it. Now, Faust is a necromancer, which is pretty interesting. Actually, the battleground takes place in the cemetery, and it's crazy because Silva was telling Anna, "Yo needs to not fight here. This dude has almost killed people that he's fought." And Anna's like, "Well, why are they fighting in the cemetery? The Great Spirit sets up the battleground so that all shamans and all participants can use their powers to their full abilities." Dude is able to use some of his powers to bring up these bones. Now, I love the fact that Manta is super, super smart because he knew about the Ainu people, but he also said, yeah, cemeteries are kind of rare in Japan because, people in Europe and America and the West, they don't burn their dead. They actually bury them and they bury their bodies, with all of that. They just don't scatter them and everything like that. So that's how you get the bones. Now, the important thing about Faust to learn, and which is pretty cool, his spirit ally is Eliza. Eliza was his wife. Eliza was a very sickly girl. She had this rare disease, and he always, as a little kid, he always saw her in the window. And as he got older and he studied, he found a cure for it, and they got married, and they were happy. But and it's something you can pick up on because he uses her bones as the medium. Because all of the spirit, all the shamans, you have to have something that houses your spirit and something that can connect them so that you can use your mana, your oversoul, and things like that. His was her bones. If you pay attention to her skull, it's a bullet hole. A robber killed her, and so Faust was trying to figure out, you know, and that's the thing he's lamenting on how he has been a doctor, but he couldn't save people. He couldn't save patients. He couldn't save her, and that's when he started dipping into Faust the First, old works of necromancy. And funny enough, Faust the First was actually in the Shaman Fight 500 years ago, but he didn't even get far because the devil he had summoned ended up killing him. So Faust is able to wear Yo down. And how is he able to wear Yo down? Well, this is the reason why Shaman King stood out to me is because of these scenes. In the original Four Kids one, you do see Faust finds Manta interesting because he's a really tiny man, right? So he uses the bones to hold Yo down. He grabs Manta and he dissects and cuts open Manta while he's still awake. He's in tons of pain. And in the Four Kids one, you do see him doing the cutting, but it's like a spirit type of thing, right? It's like an energy kind of thing. In the manga, you see like his heart, his rib cage, all of that. He literally cuts him open, and Manta's like, "I'm gonna die," and he's like saying his goodbyes to Yo. This pisses off Yo to the point where he's able to break out of the bones, and he uses his own shirt to wrap him up. He's got to get him to a doctor, so it's like to a real doctor. He says, "You got to get him to a doctor." So it's either quit the fight or finish the fight quickly so you can get him to the hospital. And Yo had been fighting so wildly because Manta, when we get some good backstory from Anna on Yo, Manta is Yo's very first human friend. Turns out that, over years being a shaman and being able to see spirits and connect with spirits and be a medium, that has drawn the ire of people who cannot do that. Over time, in the years, people stop believing in it or people look at you like you're weird. So Yo left the countryside to come to the city to find someone who was just like him, and he found Manta. Well, Yo has almost burned out his oversoul, and unfortunately, that allows Faust to finally use his real oversoul, which is Eliza. Yo thinks very smartly, gets Faust fired up because he calls Eliza a doll and shatters her legs, which dude makes a giant skeleton thing using all the bones there. But he does this after the fact because Yo has already run out of mana. But even though Yo has lost, Minomaru, Minomaru even lectures Yo because Yo finally says, "Man, this is weird because my whole thing was having a cushy life, but I care about and love people." And Minomaru's like, "It's okay to, you know, grow up, and the fact that you say everything's going to be all right, that's a good thing. But at the same time, you can reevaluate what you want in life and what's important in life and working towards those goals." But before he's killed, Ren with this, and just I meant to tell you, when he killed Crom, he had this oversized cape, and he's on top of a horse. He's still on top of a horse, shatters the oversoul, makes this casual remark that he drinks 3 cups of milk a day, so those bones have no calcium, and he declares that he's Yo's next opponent. So going into episode 8, we get a nice little emotional filler slash another character slash actual semi training. What ends up happening is Manta and Yo are both in the same hospital, and time has passed. They don't tell us how much time has passed, but time has passed, and Yo feigns that he doesn't want to be friends with Manta anymore. He's calling him dumb and everything else. As a matter of fact, Manta fought his family for Yo because they don't think he needs to be hanging out with someone who's some type of spirit medium slacker guy. And his dad, who's just as short as he is, his sister looks just like him. His mom is like, I guess, this tall bombshell. But his dad smacks him like, no, you're going to America, you're going to college. Didn't know Manta was that smart that he could actually choose to go to college if he wanted to. But he is very brilliant. Anyway, Yo's whole thing is he needs to go back to Izumo. He needs to go back to his home. He needs to train up and get more mana because to fight Ren, who is strong, he's gonna need that. And he doesn't want Manta getting involved because Ren is ruthless. Remember, Ren has killed folks. So this episode involves Manta going against what his parents says because even after Yo says that he's like, I want to know more about him. Forget you, mom. You all don't realize I've been the happiest I've ever been since I've had an actual friend. Needs to find Yo, runs into Ryu, sorry, Wooden Sword Ryu, who's gonna go to America to be a sushi chef. I don't know why you would go to America as opposed to staying in Japan and studying, but whatever. And he says, you know what? No, I'm gonna help you. All his friends have gone and gotten jobs, and he's like, I'm still trying to find my best place, is what it says in Japanese, but happy place is the translation. So he overheard about the Izumo thing. He doesn't believe that Yo really meant those things to Manta, so they're gonna go. We're introduced to Tomoyo. I don't remember her last name, but she's this super, super shy girl who cannot really speak to people, has pink hair, and she's working as a medium. She's an orphan. She's taken in by the Asakuras, and she's being trained by them personally in their, well, I was going to say compound, but in their land. It's more of their land. Her two spirits are Conchi and Ponchi, who are literally based off of Ren and Stimpy. They are very vulgar. It's a Tanuki and a fox spirit. The Tanuki actually ends up, not Tanuki, the fox ends up peeing on Manta, and the Tanuki, if you know anything about Tanukis and traditional Japanese yokai spirits, they have large genitals, and he wraps Manta up in them. I find this weird that they were able to show someone's genitals wrapping around Manta, but would not show Manta being dissected. They actually don't even show much blood. Like, Yo gets cut into with a literal cleave scythe, and they don't show a lot of blood. It's very strange and interesting, to say the least. Anyhow, Yo's trial, which I remember this in the original anime, and these episodes took a long time, but did not take long in this reboot. He had to go through this tunnel, which goes into Yomi, the spirit land, so he has to effectively die, and come back because your parameters of life are already set. You can't get better hearing, sight, you can't get more mana, but you can die and come back and get those things. That is something that is very important that you should remember. When you get reincarnated, you can come back with more power. Just hold on to that when I get to future episodes. So, Yo does come out of it pretty much the same because everyone's like, because Anna is even like, he might not be the same person, Manta, because she was asked by Yo to watch over him, and she ends up saving him from Tomoyo because she had a vision that a tall man and a short man are going to throw commotion into Yo's life. And Yo's granddad's like, yeah, you're still a novice, so I wouldn't pay too much attention to it. Thank goodness Anna was there to set things straight. Tomoyo's actually in love with Yo, but Anna considers her a fangirl, so that's why she keeps her around. Anna's still annoying with the slaps and everything. But, yes. And where's my next opponent? The next opponent is still Ren, and this is what we're going to get. And we do get that. And episode 9 is literally called Ren versus Yo again. Really good fight. With the Oracle Bell, because Silver has been placed as Ren's proctor or overseer because he's still pissed at the guy for killing his best friend. And also because Silver has a bias towards Yo. Because even the other stupid other proctors were saying, you can't have an unbiased judgment if you keep using emotions, which is I disagree. But anyway, he's put in charge of Ren, and while talking to his spirit ally, the silver totem, the eagle, pardon me, he shows this thing, and I love that it's in complete English. Shows that Ren has more mana than Yo by far, but he is burning through it. So Yo has to figure out a way how to get through this. Um, Manta does end up running away, not out of fear, but trying to get to Anna to say how can Yo win, because the girls are gonna have faith in him, and Manta's just trying to figure out how to get his buddy to win, because Ren got the horse that Bason used in the Chinese wars hundreds of years ago, and found out he has a shaman horse that they put the spirit of his old black steed into this white horse. Ren is using his attacks are gold. They're super gold. He has a gold case and everything, and he's able to use his oversoul with Basan being at the tip of the spear, but also having his physical body. I don't know if this predates Stands or if this was around the same time as Stands, because this is 99, isn't it? But I honestly think this is right around that same area. It looks really really cool. And Yo's not taking a ton of damage, but Ren is losing. He's having doubts in himself because Yo is very calm and collected, and Yo's like, "Yeah, force I can't force myself to do exactly what you're doing because last time I forced myself, I lost the battle." He's remembering all this, and actually, his granddad trained him, like we saw in the first 5 episodes. The Shikigami that he used against Yo, they were something that he used to fear. Didn't fear him anymore. His grandfather threw 100 at him, and he used the version 2 oversoul of Amidamaru. And now Amidamaru is actually a higher class of spirit because he can talk to him while he's using him. So he's using the oversoul level 2 Amidamaru. Moving through this fight, and actually let me make sure I don't have any extra notes I want to remember. And it's a really good battle. Really good fight. Um, one of the there we go, episode 9. One of the funniest things is that because he does this gold Vopro thing with the overhead smash, and he's wondering like, and Yo has to use his oversoul to cushion it. So they're both running out of spirit power rapidly, even though Ren has more. One of the funniest thing is he's like, "How did you dodge all that?" And Yo's like, "No, you hit me like 4 times." And Ren can't see it. It's just Yo is effectively listening to Amidamaru still, proving that friendship is better than using someone as a tool. We also get in flashes of Tao Jun, his sister June, talking to their father, whose name is Tao In, um, telling him like, "Hey, not much has happened with Ren. He's doubting, he shouldn't have put her in charge of him." But her whole thing is Ren is not like the rest of the Tao family. He's too kind. So when he had to start killing people, he internalized all that and is eating him alive. And she's like asking their dad to just let go of him because the person he's fighting, Yo Asakura, there's no way he's gonna beat him. He's like, "What do you mean you can't beat him?" Can't beat him because Yo, while he will fight, he shows kindness to his opponents, and he is actually the yin to Ren's yang. They are similar but different, and he ends up bringing up something inside of Ren. It's why Ren has been obsessed with him. He literally brings out the best in Ren. Um, their fight once Ren finally joins up with the horse, their fight comes to a literal draw. They are actually the very last fight of all the shaman fights. We see Faust, who is now in a wheelchair. I'm gonna go ahead and spoil that early for you. Remember when I said that Eliza's legs got shattered? Just think about that one. Um, he's in a wheelchair. He meets Horo Horo. Even Horo Horo's like, "This guy's weird." By the way, Horo Horo has a sister. I do not remember his sister's name. I wish I could scroll through that and have that for you in a second. Her name's Pirka. Pirka? Pirka? Pirca. But she's there. They're both watching Yo's fight, and because it's a draw, they have to confer with the Great Spirit. Things are slowly coming back to me as I remember the manga. But they confer with the Great Spirit. The Great Spirit said, "Hey, both of you pass." And that's at the end of this episode. Now, episode 10 is where we pick right up, and they're in this great hall because everybody's waiting for them in the stadium. They're in this great hall stadium. You see lots of different faces. Actually, you do see How it right there. I will also casually remind you all, Four Kids is so dumb because they call How Zeke Asakura when his real name is How. I and they call Tomoyo Tamara. Short little Four Kids rant. I do not understand why. I don't understand why people who do dubbing and things like that think that American children can't say other people's names because this is a melting pot country. People have tons of different names. There are people who spell their names differently. I don't understand the need to change names, and I don't understand the need to for even One Piece for Four Kids to either draw guns into water guns to make Sanji's cigarette a lollipop, or even for Yu-Gi-Oh to just draw away the guns. Kids know about guns. Kids know about smoking. I don't understand that. I would never understand that. Probably why Four Kids is Dunzo. Anyway, this episode, how was name dropped because Yo and Tamayo, what what Anna calls it in this episode, a date. While they're coming back, this group called Bows. They are two literal monks who have electric biwas and traditional traditional music. They have a hearse that has these big speakers that are literal parodies of Bose speakers, and they do the same prayer that Yo accidentally did, almost sent Amidamaru to heaven because they almost sent Conchi and Panchi to heaven because those two idiots. They are actually very vulgar. Those two actually try to steal the girls' clothing when they were going to the hot spring that's on the family land. Oh, that's and actually, Yo and Anna have a hot spring that's at their house. These two are so dumb they forgot to tell them that they were being followed for so long. And these guys use spirits that have forgotten their form to hold Yo and to take his spirit medium that has a Midamaru. Because they say, hey, we're just going to beat you before the fights happen, right? These two are goofballs. But here comes Boken Ryu, Wooden Sword Ryu. He is now a fully fledged shaman. I even thought to, it never occurred to me to say, where's Ryu? Ryu. And Ryu said, thank you, Yo, for leaving me in the Zumo because he trained with his grandfather and he's now a shaman and he has Tokagero as his spirit ally. Finally, things are coming back to how I remember them. Makes quick work of these guys. He literally slices their decked out hearse in half with the wooden sword. And he's actually in the spirit fights. He has an oracle bell. Silver was the one that told him that, beat up two shamans he's in. What I love that they did in this episode is they do a flashback and he says, I'm here, I'm in this shot too. Just I'm right behind this guy. He's literally right behind somebody. And they're like, oh yeah, there you are. Just what? Funny and it's good. Where am I at here? Yeah, no. This and what happened, I think, in the very beginning of this too, with Ren. Ren is now with the crew, eating with the crew after the whole shaman thing. And he tells Yo, Yo actually beat him once a long time ago. So he's like, you're the only person that's beaten me, so don't you lose. I gotta go settle some things in China. I gotta go back to China, go back home, and because I can't move forward with how things are right now. So they vow to see each other. They're all friends. Even Basan is crying, saying that he's never seen Ren smile so much. And Miyamoto's like, how is he smiling? That he's being rude to Horo and stuff. And he's like, no, he's never talked with other people. He's never had a conversation with another human like this before. And he's growing up, right? The very last shot that we have of this episode is Ren standing on top of, he's finally in China, and he's looking at the family's scores and scores of Jingshi, that's Chinese ghosts with tags on them. And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna tear all this. We're gonna tear through them. We're gonna tear all this down. Let's go, Basan. Now, what led him to make this decision was originally he was just going to annihilate all of mankind and the Tao family. That was originally his goal. He tells this to Basan because at first he told Basan to shut up while they were on the train, that they would have to ride 38 hours to get home, until a woman who obviously can't see him, can't see Basan, a woman looks like a grandmother and her kid. She says, "Hey, young man, you can't. If you have that sullen look, you're just gonna make yourself sick. Here is a." She gives him a literal peach bun, and Basan thinks he's gonna snap at her, but no. Ren takes it. He eats it. Um, and he said, something that one filling me up has resolved me. You know, I have to stop this cycle of hate. He mentions the cycle of hate actually before he had his fight with Yo. The Tao family, and I'm glad I remember this now. The Tao family's whole thing is revenge. They want to have revenge against the people in China that turn their backs on them because they turn away against the Taoism shamans and everything. And Ren's like, once they get revenge, it's just gonna be someone else they're gonna have revenge on. So Ren wants to end that cycle of revenge, beat his father Tao in, and be free of all of it. And that's what we're gonna come up with in the next 5 episodes. This was actually a very major thing in the original 2001 anime because that stuff spanned like maybe 3 or 4 episodes. And actually, when we meet Tamayo episode 5 in here. No, no, we met her episode not 5. This stupid thing said 5. We meet her episode 7 in here, right? Right? No, I'm sorry. We meet her episode 8 in here. Um, in the original, you don't meet her till like episode 21. For those old animes, man, they stretch things out. So, uh, hope you guys enjoyed this quick recap. Well, not quick, it's not really quick, but this recap of the next 5. So remember, I'm doing 5 each time. I'm probably going to give you another one this week. So that leaves us with episodes, what, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, episodes 11 through 15. We're chugging along, but we're going to get there. And I hope you are enjoying this ride like I am. I'm hoping these videos have inspired you to actually watch this yourself. It's on Netflix. It's on Netflix. I got a feeling that the next set of episodes are going to come out sometime in April. So we're going to get through this before that, because then when that comes, I'm going to give you guys some live stuff. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and smash that bell to be notified of more videos like this. And do not forget to share this video. As always, everyone, thank you for taking some time out with me. Please be good, be blessed, wash your hands, wear a mask, just be safe out there, please. Be good to yourself, be good to others. Either way it goes, do not be a jerk, and I will most definitely see you guys next time.